Hello, I'm Anita Lang, founder of IMI Design, and I'm here today in my favorite project, the Onion Tower. And I'm highlighting the person that's really behind making this all happen, which is David Mikes from 4Gen Construction. Hey, David.
Hey. Good to see you.
Good to see you. What I have to tell you about David is he's kind of a designer's dream in this about a contractor, is we always have these crazy ideas and you need a really good contractor to say, okay, let me help you figure out how to make it happen versus no. So David is great to work with that way. So, and tell us, David, when you do a project like this, what is different about doing a very bespoke custom home than others?
Well, I mean, just the fact that it's bespoke, it's different than any other things. Every option is available to everybody. So when you have that client that wants something completely different, custom is the only way that you can go. So every option that's out there is available. And so putting those all together are very difficult to do. And so that's why putting together the team of people to do it makes it important.
Amen. So I agree with that 100%. And it's like we're always prototyping everything, right? Like, oh, let's try this new idea.
This. And then we've tried a few things that didn't work. We tried a few things that worked out fantastic. So
Yep.
There's always some different stuff that's going to pop up in a build process like this because it's custom and it's not just your standard. Light fixtures aren't the same. Fittings aren't the same, details aren't the same, everything is one-off. And that's what makes custom homes special versus just a standard track home or something that's just not unique.
And what David's so good at is having that mind to think of how to actually implement it. And you're famous for your sketches. He's always sketching.
I definitely communicate with drawing.
Yeah, I love it.
I do, yeah.
What are some of the ways that you manage a project like this?
Well, I mean, it's a hard question to answer as a whole, but I mean, management comes down to the team that's surrounding us. So I think that probably the biggest thing about management of a project is architects, designers, engineers, the subcontractors that we're using. Those are the most important people because when you put them all together, if you have one weak link, it really affects everything down the run. And so the management of it, and that's boring stuff, is how are you going to manage the day-to-day because there's a lot of things to juggle, a lot of things to do. But the uniqueness of having a team put together that has all the processes and everything in place that are going to really kind of bring the bespoke project to light is the most important aspect. So, doing that and putting that together on the front end is definitely the most important side of it.
Well, and I appreciate that. And it's a good contractor that takes all those team players and brings all that information together and then actually builds this idea that everyone had in their head. So that's well said. What's some advice that you would give a potential client wanting to build a custom home?
Well, I don't know. I feel like I'm repeating myself a little bit, but I believe that the most important thing is the team, that team effort that we talked about. So starting with a team that lines up with your visions and lines up with your personalities, I think are really, really important. The process of a build is not perfect and it's not easy. And if you can sit down and trust the people that are doing the process for you and you can enjoy the process and then let it unfold, the end result is it's unbelievable because there are people that are together as they're all working together. So much communication occurs behind the scenes, but the one effort and putting together a team of people that align with your vision will be amazing at the end. I don't know how else to say it, but
that's well said.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to describe, but at the end, if you can trust the process as an owner, and I think that's probably one of the harder things because trust is a very hard thing to do, especially with teams of people that you really don't know and you've just interviewed and you're paying them money to do things. But if you put together a team of unique people that do homes like this, because this can't be done by a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a small group of people that can do this. And if you can put together a group of small people that you can trust and you can step back and enjoy that process, at the end, you get a one-off, one-of-a-kind, bespoke home that's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. And one thing I really appreciate in going through this process with you over the last 3 years
Yes.
is communication, because it just
Yes.
takes a lot of communication. You know, we have our spreadsheet that we constantly
Yes,
work off,
constantly
and
work
like
off of.
what happens next, and it keeps everyone in the loop. And I think that really does help. What you were speaking to is building that trust
Yep.
and knowing that things are being watched over. And
Right.
I know that really helped me a lot, because I always say it's a miracle that a house ever comes together when you start to think of all the things that have to happen. And we did this during hard times, right? We did this
the
when
start of the project was very difficult with
we had-
lumber
and we were in
steel.
COVID, and then we had shortages. Like, we just had one little challenge after another. So, you know, I love the fact that I still love David and what he does, and it was a bumpy road to go through. So we're looking forward to the next project to do together. And I just want to say thank you so much, David.
Thank
so
you.
yeah. And then one last thing, David, how do people find you?
You can find me on the web. Easiest, www.4genhomes.com.
Fabulous.